So, welcome to the University of Alaska Southeast Ketchikan Campus Library. I'm Kathy Bowling, Miss Lana Clark. First commercial break. You can get your UAS Ketchikan Campus Library card. We have access to the Alaska Library Catalog, which offers over 3 million titles. So you can check out materials not just from our collection, which is different from the public library because we are an academic library. But you also have access to libraries from here to Gavick. So, the world is your oyster. So, I'd like to introduce Assistant Professor of Health Sciences, Michele Cornwall. She has her Bachelor of Science in Education from Linville College, Bachelor of Science in Nursing from University of Portland, a Master of Nursing from Linville University, and she runs our CNA program here at UAS, which the entire community is grateful for that. And she also has taught fundamentals of anatomy physiology. So welcome and thank you.
So she just gave my whole talk, so we're done. So my name's Michele. I've been in healthcare for 24 years. Last 12 have been here. My area of expertise really is women's health and pediatrics. I started in long-term care, doing my CNA program, and fell in love, and got a lot of information, and got to learn a lot about dementia and Alzheimer's, and so it's become a topic of my heart. And so to start off, I just want to share a story. And tonight is really going to be about memories of people who have a disease, but are still the person that they are, and they have an amazing history to them. So I'm going to start off without talking about my mom. I'm going to try not to cry because I sent out this great text last night to all my kids. I'm like, I'm giving this talk. Please give me like 2 words about grandma that you want to give, and so I can share it. So, of course, it's crickets. I don't hear anything. 6 kids and crickets. And so I'm like, okay, no, the one daughter I thought I could count on to send me something, crickets. So anyway, I called her before I got here, and we're chit-chatting. She's like, what are you doing today? And I said, oh, I'm giving that talk. She goes, oh, the one you sent the text about. She goes, I'm going to start crying. But she goes, the one about grandma. And I said, yeah. And she goes, I got the text when I was riding the bus, and it overwhelmingly just affected me because she's such an amazing woman, or was such an amazing woman. And when I think of her, she says that it was that she was an amazing woman, and she couldn't come up with 2 words to share with me because there's so many stories, and every time she tried to write them down, she got very emotional. She actually has a tattoo of one of my mom's paintings on her wrist to memorize, to keep her memory alive. So when we talk about my mom, she has passed. But if you were to ask me how I would describe my mom, it was that she was a feisty Sicilian. And I say that, and this is a great story for her because this is exactly what happened. So my dad they got married. It was Vietnam. He got stationed in Thailand, and military told my mom, you can't go, it's active wartime, you can't go. Well, my mom, being the stubborn Sicilian as she was, went to Thailand. So, 9 months later, I'm born in a foreign country. Now I have dual citizenship, but I'm also 15 hours away from a hospital when I get sick at 4 months old. So she comes back to the States. Now, one thing about the Italian culture is it's very family oriented. So what my mom has instilled in me and my family is that family is the most important thing you can have, and that you need to invest in your kids. So, I grew up, we were military, so we traveled a lot. So I didn't get to know a lot of my cousins like everyone else did. But we stayed connected as much as we could as we traveled around the world in the military. And so my mom ingrained in us the importance of family. I'm an only child, but it was really, really important. So when we struggled with money, She made every holiday, and we could be dirt poor without a dime to our name. She made every holiday special. Okay, it didn't matter what she did. It was incredible. So I carried that on to my kids, and money or not, they always have something. And it was because my mom made holidays so special that it instilled it in me. And like I said, there were times we were dirt poor. I got a recipe box with her Italian recipes in it for my birthday. And I was a teenager who wasn't ever going to learn how to cook these, but she gave them to me, but it meant a lot that she took the time and effort to do it. So my mom was also a beautiful artist, and she instilled that into my kids, who are all artists. I can't draw anything, but they can do these beautiful things because of what she taught them and her passion for my kids and for passing down tradition. So when I look at my mom, it was a journey, and she has so many positive stories to share and offer. And so let's go to now. I'm 35. I'm sitting in a neurologist's office, and this is 20 years ago. The research wasn't there. The education wasn't there for the families. There really wasn't much. And sitting with a neurologist, and not medical at this time, and they tell me, they're like, they thought she had a brain aneurysm. She didn't. They found out that she'd been having small strokes all along. Did we get a diagnosis of dementia or Alzheimer's that day? I'm not sure. And as I go through the process, she had really bad breathing problems, so that's what took over a lot of the medical care. But 20 years ago, we didn't know any better. We didn't know anything when it comes to where we are now. We didn't know how to educate families like we do now. There's so much research out there and so many people and programs that are able to help us. So I could tell you how it ended, but that's not her. One part of it was, so with our faith, you do last rites, okay? And my mom had always told me growing up that when I pass away, if you're around, I need my last rites. And that was just something that was, and so I had to do, get the last rites. And she said the Our Father. Now, she had been non-communicative, could not communicate at all at this point, but could say the Our Father. And that's one of the last memories I have of her. So really think about the journey. The end product's the end product, but there's so many things between the birth and at the end that we can celebrate. And that's what I'm talking about tonight. And so when we're looking at it, the disease is hard. It's hard on the family, and it's hard on the person going through it. Okay? And what we need to realize is that that things are happening to the brain that they can't control. They're not meaning to not remember. They're not meaning to not recognize someone. So, we've got someone that ended Alzheimer's and they're not remembering. It's not because they don't want to remember. It's because they can't. Portions of their brain are no longer connected that give them the ability to do that. So does that mean we still don't live a life, even if our brain is not working as well as it could be? People still deserve a life. As you go through this disease process, what you're going to learn too is people learn to, they start losing their ability to talk. A big thing for families too is that they lose they stop recognizing people. Like I said again, it's not because they don't want to, it's because of the brain. And so something that we really stress is that remember their stories. Don't worry about remembering about people's names, but stories that go along with it. So one of the things you can do is, my husband made this for my mom last night, or about my mom last night, is have something. And so if you have people that are fisher, like to fish or whatever, just take a picture. It does not have to mean anything. And show it to them. And let them tell you what they see. If they don't see what you see, it doesn't matter. It's their vision, it's their conversation. Let them talk. So, looking at things, what can you do? Now, you guys know nothing about me, right? But if you were to look at this right now, right, you know nothing about anything in this. Okay, what are things that you? What could think of one thing when you're looking at this that you could say something about? And I'll show everyone, and then you guys can think about it. Would someone like to share something that they saw?
Italy.
Italy? What did they say?
I saw the family.
The family. You did,
Yes,
right?
they all came with me.
Yeah, I know they're amazing. You know, I've known them forever. What else? The bride and groom. So she's talking to me about the bride and groom. She has no idea what their names are, right? Is that less of a story because she doesn't know names? No, she's telling me what she sees, and she's able to communicate that to me. So when you're looking at things, it is like, it doesn't matter. Pick their favorite topic. Okay, whatever their favorite topic. Fishing. I always think of guys and fishing. Take a picture and have them describe to you what it is. You know, people that like to fly. I did some collectibles over in the Pioneer home, and people love to fly. Okay, and they would just take out pictures of these amazing float planes, right? Because we're in Alaska, it has to be float planes, and they would just talk about it, and it was something they knew. And so they might not, they could probably tell you nothing about what type of plane it was, but who cares? At the end of the day, who cares what, if they can tell you what it is? Because me looking at that plane, I had no idea. I knew it was a float plane, but that's it. But I still got something out of it. So, shadow boxes are great, and it's really a great way to share someone's history. That you can have it out and it be a talking piece. Okay, that you can be like, okay, you don't need to know the names. You don't even need to know what it's on there. If someone picks out a color, that's great. They've learned something from the experience. So the picture of the wedding, that's my mom and dad. Okay, and these are all things that were really important. These two pictures here are actually pictures that my mom made. My husband was able to bring them down. She was an incredible artist, and her oil paintings were absolutely amazing. But these are two that she made towards the end. This is the one that my daughter has as a tattoo for her grandma. And these are different things that she liked. This is my grandfather, myself, and my oldest, and my mom. But the story for you you don't need to know all that just to enjoy looking at it. So that's really think about the history. Think about how people can learn. So, another big thing. So when I take this out, it's heavy. What do you think? Tell me what you guys think.
Cool.
Why? Because of the snow? Very cold. Very cold.
It reminds me of my daughter because she loves the snow.
Did she love the snow globes? Absolutely.
Yeah, she does.
Can you guys think of anything?
A trip, maybe?
A trip? Yes. He's on a plane or a rocket ship. It looks like he's on a rocket ship. So one of the traditions my mom did was that every Christmas she would get the kids a snow globe. Okay, so when she passed, I thought it was one of those great traditions because I was never one of those great moms that are like, "Oh, I'm going to start something when they're a baby," and my mom had the great ideas when it came to that, and so she would get them a snow globe. So every year, only two of my kids really were into the snow globes. So every year, my girls get a snow globe, I go down to Simply Bella's. They help me pick one out because they know the story, and they get a snow globe. So grandma's always with them. Okay. So this is just a picture. This is a random picture. So this is what I mean about just doing something random, right? Just a random picture that a friend gave me. What can you tell me about this picture? What are words that you guys can think of? Picnic. Yep, they're having a picnic. What else? I'm a teacher. My classes are very interactive.
Fun?
Fun. No, I don't know these people. This just came in the frame. Okay, so that's what I mean. You just get a picture, and then you just talk about it like you would talk about this, as you would talk about a shadow box. It is a way. It doesn't matter how you communicate, as long as you are having fun. Now, if you have something, and even if, I get the question of, but they don't remember, people don't remember me. Who cares? Right? My mom didn't remember who was in those pictures. She knew it was something. And I don't care if it was Mickey Mouse she thought it was. It was her engaging. That was what was important. So I think that's the big thing about really improving lives is also think about what people like to do. So for my mom, it was huge. Cooking, Italians, that's huge. I mean, you can't, you have to have 5 meals a day. When you're done with one meal, you have to get ready for the second. Okay? So I can't cook to save my life. I married a chef. So I wouldn't be able to cook with my mom, right? But my husband could cook with her. And even towards the end, when she wasn't doing well, she had introduced my husband to it because Italians eat huge feasts. It's not these little things, it's huge. And so our first holiday together, we have all this food, and my husband, who's the chef, is like, okay. And so there were like traditional dishes that she made. One was stuffed mushrooms, and one was croquettes, which is their potatoes. And so even towards the end, she could cook those with the help. I mean, she couldn't, it wasn't like she could before where she was able to do it, but she was able to help as much as she could. And that's what we need, what is enriching about the experience for everyone involved. It is really, what strengths and what people like. It's just bringing it back and realizing, you know what, if Mickey Mouse is the answer that day, that's what it is. And, it's not going to hurt anyone. I mean, why is it going to change anything? Absolutely not. Just remember what people enjoy and keep bringing it back. And if there's less and less, then there's less and less. There are days that were less and less and don't want to deal with it. But remember, the journey doesn't end with the diagnosis, and the person isn't the diagnosis. They're a person that has done a lot, and to remember that. So really, and then when we're talking about different activities you can do, think about what they like to do. Okay. Um, Tempe Snow, if you're a family, is a great resource. She has great training videos for families, and I use it a lot in my CNA class. And they offer all kinds of things. One of the ones was enriching lives. And it was looking at, like I said, my mom at the end could help make something. Could she do everything like she did 10 years before that? Absolutely not. But it was still made. She felt like she was invested in still contributing to the family. And that's what meant the most to her, is because she really needed to feel like she's contributing. They like to do puzzles. Puzzles are great. Like the big puzzles, which are really nice to put together when they're large. it's easier to put them together. You think that I couldn't put a puzzle together because I have really bad fine motor skills. So getting those bigger puzzles for me is helpful. But pull out something. Maybe the puzzle can't be done. Maybe there's 5 of you as a family doing it together, but you're doing it together. Okay, so even if they're sitting there, or if anyone's sitting there, you're getting memories. And puzzles are huge. Music is huge. I'm going to show you a clip here in a few minutes about music and people that have been diagnosed with Alzheimer's, dementia, and how music can transcend people's lives. And you'll see a video of this. It was actually it was a study done by a social scientist about music, and he wanted to know if he got the shuffles. Do you remember the shuffles way back when? If they filled them with music, what would happen? And they were like $40, I think. Now he could not get a grant to get his goal was to get a shuffle to everyone in a retirement community because of how things had transcended so much. But he couldn't. And the doctor in the series is like, but you know what? If I write for $140 prescription for a memory medication, that'll get paid for. Something as simple as music can transcend people, and they can't get it. So things to think about too. What kind of music do they like? Right? What did they listen to? What TV show did they like? So when I was talking to my daughter today, she's like, MASH will always be associated with grandma because she watched MASH with them all the time. And so that would be something. I was not trained. I'm not the expert in this field. I'm just sharing what I've learned. And so I had no idea with my mom. None. But like I said, we're going back decades. And so the training or education wasn't there. And so, looking back now, I would have had MASH playing. One thing, she ended up in long-term care because of, we just weren't able to safely keep her at home because my husband and I both worked full time and we couldn't get a caregiver to come in 24/7. And so we told them at the beginning, it was so funny because they would listen to my mom and I bicker. But that just happens when you're Italian. You bicker all the time. It's not that big a deal. But then they thought it was weird. So I'm like, let me tell you some stories about my mom. So then they got connected and they could understand why my mom and I had the relationship we did. Because this is just what you do. I mean, it's not that we're bad people. It's just what you do. You walk into one of my family things with my Italian family, you're going to see everyone doing it. And so I started telling them, yeah, this is the feisty Italian. And they're like, what do you mean? So I tell them. One thing that was huge with my mom was her faith. And when she could see, she would read every day the Bible at least 2 or 3 times a day. So the people in long-term care got the library to order the Bible on CDs. We got her CD player, and then she listened to the CD player and the Bible, just like she would do if she was reading. Yeah, I mean, it was something like I would have never thought that, but it really meant a huge. And they said they could see it in her, what it was like. Do you guys have anything you would like to share, or ask questions?
You're poking me. What?
No, I was just wondering how you saw it coming on.
How did I see it coming on?
Yeah.
With my mom?
Yeah.
So it was memory problems, like things that, it was very slight. So when usually someone's 5 years into the disease before you can recognize that they have something going on. Because we all lose keys. We all lose our cell phone. I swear, since I've been getting ready for this talk, I've lost my cell phone 25 times. Okay. But it's really when it becomes to the point when they're 5 years in, it's about the good time when the things are now, okay, it's a little bit too much. Like they're really having problems getting words. They are, and with my mom, it was just, you could just tell something wasn't right. And they did a head CT on her yeah, a head CT and found out. They thought that she had a stroke at that point. So we had taken her in. She was, one side was a problem. And when they did the CT, they thought they saw an aneurysm. And then, when I sat down with the neurologist, he's like, I get a thing of questions, which is amazing because, like, you don't think about it. And they asked me a bunch of questions, and yeah, it brought up that her memory was more than just being forgetful.
Like she just couldn't she couldn't think of the word that she was. It was a word she was trying to think of, and she couldn't think of it.
And she wouldn't remember things that, like the kids' names, for instance, or where she had lived, and that's a lot more in the disease process than we usually see it now. If someone was like that,
Yeah,
they would catch it. They'd be like, okay, this is not normal.
yeah.
Okay. Part of being military, we didn't know, like going to the doctor was not like that is something you just didn't do when you were in the military back then.
Yeah.
And so we never sought out healthcare because it was available, but for some reason it wasn't just as important. And so we definitely got in later than we should have.
Was it kind of in her family?
No.
She's the first one that you know of.
No, my mom's family, they live forever.
Mm-hmm.
And I have 100-year-old aunt.
And she's sharp.
Oh yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, totally sharp. So my mom was the first one to have it.
Yeah. So what was the difference between dementia and Alzheimer's?
That's a great question. So dementia, there's 80 to 90 different types of dementia out there. Alzheimer's accounts for 60 to 80% of the dementia types. So 60 to 80% of people that have dementia or have Alzheimer's. Right now, 6.9 million people in the U.S. have Alzheimer's disease. And that's the right one. And then from
So it's
ages,
kind of like you're saying dementia is like the umbrella.
it's an umbrella.
Yeah.
Yeah. But diagnosed right now at 6.9 million. And we're seeing it as young as 30 now. So 30 to 64 in the United States right now, there's over 200,000 people with it. The youngest I've seen it is 39.
That's what they call that early onset.
Mm-hmm.
And then how old is it before it's not early onset?
So typically you're going to see it about 65. So when we're looking at those big numbers, it's like 65 and above. But it runs, when we're looking at early onset, we're looking at, it's more family driven or family traits. So it'll run in families.
I think girls started noticing my memory or lack thereof,
Mm-hmm.
and I never realized it was as bad as it was.
Mm-hmm.
So they took me to Seattle to do a neurologic workup,
Uh-huh.
and then when I came back here, and I'm still kind of working through it.
Mm-hmm.
On top of everything else, it's a little disconcerting, really.
Yeah.
What are you going to ask, Mr. What question?
He already did.
Oh, he already did. Okay. What question was that?
The differences between the two.
Oh,
Shared is.
We wanted to know the difference because when we first went down there, we seen the neurologist and he kind of said our concerns.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had to go back down again, and then they did the MRI, and that's when he diagnosed him with Lewy body.
And so it is very common.
Yeah.
Most people will get diagnosed with Parkinson's. And there's certain things different with Parkinson's, certain things with Lewy body that are different. And so very often people will be misdiagnosed with Parkinson's.
Mhm.
They really will, because it's shaking
Yeah.
and shuffling of the gait that,
Yeah.
but there's other things that go along with it. So, yeah.
Mhm.
It is one of the four most common. That's like that's one of the top four types of dementia you'll see.
So the umbrella with the, this is dementia up here.
Yeah.
And then under dementia, you have the Alzheimer's, the Parkinson's, and the Lewy body, and all of these are part of dementia.
And Parkinson's necessarily, you can have Parkinson's, not so much, and you don't necessarily have Parkinson's and dementia. About 50% of the time you do.
Okay.
Okay. So that's a misconception there, but yeah, Lewy body's under that umbrella.
Okay.
And so you'll see, like I said, it's the fourth leading cause of dementia that you'll
Okay.
see. But it's also one that's pretty new to being recognized. There's because everyone was just diagnosed with Parkinson's for the longest time. And then they've started more research and they realized.
I have a question.
Okay. I might have an answer.
Okay. I'm wondering about, are there any connections from the environment, or is it suspected to be just kind of a genetic, or, in the person, or biological, or, what, I'm thinking, causes or things that might be indicated.
So what we're noticing is that's an amazing question, and I don't have an amazing answer. But what it is we're noticing that things can contribute to it. If you have chronic disease, okay, you have diabetes, you have hypertension, you have depression, or I'm trying to think, heart disease. Those are all, they're going to increase your risk of having it. Okay, so if your sugars are high, it's going to affect it. So different things like that. Now Parkinson's is interesting. It's not under that umbrella all the time. Like I said, about 50-50 have it. But what they've seen is that people that are in the fire, police officers have a higher risk of getting it because of the environments they go into. They're exposed to asbestos without protection. And so you will see a higher rate of Parkinson's with a police officer or a firefighter because of what they're going into.
That's what the neurologist said was his is environmental because of his being a fireman.
Oh, yeah.
Being in, because back then they didn't go into fires with protection. They went in, they were smelling chemicals from that's what he leaned more toward was his environmental.
Oh,
Or
absolutely.
his job that he might have gotten it that way.
Yeah.
Bird bees, nothing worse. Sorry.
No, but that really, I mean, we didn't have the equipment. We didn't know back then. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We just didn't know what could cause things. And they do. There's a great documentary, Riding with Jim, it's called. And it's this fireman, put 30 years in, ended up with Parkinson's. And he talks about, and it was all environmental. So he did one of those 23andMe's. And it has the traits, and he just had the best sense of humor during the whole thing. And the trait was that he had no reason to get Parkinson's. Like, he was not predisposed to it, but he was also police. and please go into places that just, you know, go in with protection. And especially, I mean, now research is showing so many things when it comes to protecting yourself in situations. We're better at it now. But having said that, we're also looking at baby boomers that are going to be entering in, that were in that realm of not having the proper equipment. So, yeah.
Did you write it down?
I'll give you a whole list.
I like to read.
Yeah. Yeah. Can you guys think of anything else?
Well, I've been finding myself having more and more trouble standing up.
Yeah.
To the point that, you know, that I'm sitting in a recliner,
Uh-huh.
I literally have to either pull myself to the edge of the recliner
Uh-huh.
or call on the girl to come pick me up or whatever. But
Yeah.
it's, my, it was interesting you talked about firefighters. One thing for me, it made me feel, I'm trying to figure out how I can put this. I felt kind of useless.
Mhm.
You know, there wasn't much for me to do anymore except sit home and watch TV and,
Mhm.
you know, that kind of stuff.
Mhm. But you did so much good. I know so many stories about you, and so many people that talk about you. No, not these three. Not me. I'm telling you, out in the community, there's a lot of people talk about you a lot, and all the good you did.
There were bonus points, there's no doubt.
And you trained a lot of people.
Yeah.
You trained. And so all the work you did during that time, generations to come are going to be affected by it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's okay to sit and relax, because you have definitely mentored a lot of people. And this community is better for it.
So that's something that I had to come to grips with, that it's okay for my loved one to sit and relax.
Mhm.
And I feel like we gotta keep you engaged by doing something.
Mm-hmm.
And wrestling with that, putting my values
Mm-hmm.
onto that, I guess. So it's nice to hear you say it's okay.
Absolutely. Because if you think about it, and I know I don't. I don't want to be on the go 24/7. Right? And it's okay to sit down. It's okay to relax. Because, I mean, we want what's really helpful are routines. So pick something that you like to do. You like to go for a walk? Go for a walk once a day. Then you're getting out, but you don't have to be on the go all the time. Because people are just being present is going to do so much for the person. And talking and treating them like they're no different because they have a disease now behind their name. They are still a great person that has given a lot. But yeah, that's, sometimes you need that permission to be like, it's okay. Seriously. So when I do my CNA class, I tell people, there's two things I always tell my students. First of all, don't argue with anyone about it. Whatever they think it is, it is. Because at the end of the day, if you argue, they're going to get agitated. And who cares if the answer's right or not? Okay? It's not going to affect my life. Let's make everything calm. And another thing is, and this is coming from someone who took care of someone. And like I said, there was not education, not because her providers were bad, we just didn't have the research, okay? Is that it's okay to, what I tell my students is to tag out. Give yourself a break. Have someone come in and help out, and you take care of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You really need to take care of yourself. Because I'm telling you, by the time my mom passed, I was burnt out a lot. But what I also learned, and we've had this conversation a lot in my house, is like, if I only knew then what I knew now, I would do things so much differently. I mean, so much differently. I would give myself permission to be like, you know what, I need time because it's going to be better for both of us. Can you guys think of anything else?
I did notice lately that there's a lot more cleaning. He can't sit still. He has to get up and clean and move things. And he's always picking up the garbage and he's always doing stuff. And that reminds me of that. Like, just, you can sit down and watch a show. Like,
Yes.
we can pick up garbage in a minute.
Right. And you also have to look at the person who was on the go all the time and had a lot of things going on. See, your history, I know your history. I've heard so much, not from your girls, from the community about you. So I can see why you're up and going all the time. I can totally see it because you were on the go all the time.
Yeah, there were moments.
Yeah. There were definitely moments. But yeah, it really does make it. And something to think about too is what are some things that you can do or, you know, like people, what have they done for hobbies in the past? Right? Even if they can't do them that great, do them. Sit down as a family and figure out something you all like to do and just do it.
Our thing is on the weekends, the kids come over and we all watch movies and
Yeah.
Pebbles cooks dinner and we all sit around.
weekend.
Oh, and we play Yahtzee or poker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's great. That's great. You don't want to change things when just because there's a disease doesn't mean you don't do what you always do. Right? So we always ate pasta. So I grew up my entire life. Italians always eat. I should say all Italians. My Italian family always ate pasta and meatballs, right? And so with my mom, that continued until she passed. I mean, like, even nowadays, the kids will be like, it's Sunday, shouldn't we be eating pasta? And so do what you do. I mean, what you always do. Because people are going to get enjoyment out of it. It might not seem like it, but people can feel love. People can feel love. If you guys don't have anything else, there's a cute little clip I want to show. This is from the movies Alive Inside, and it's about the documentary I was telling you about. This one's really worth